Good morning, all. This is Jeff Josh in the markets, and this is the bigger picture webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 5th of August. My disclaimer: I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own shots. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at ctmthebiggerpicture.subset.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of a week. All right, great. Let's have a look at ES. Now, ES. I'll talk more about this on the daily charts, but ES basically hit the 3SD upper band yesterday and closed over it, and we're up slightly since then. This is an area where no one should be going long, and we're building up increasing negative divergence. We've got a possible weak 60-minute sell signal brewing here, and if we see a bit of a higher high here, we could get a full-size one brewing. NQ, we've got a possible weak 6-minute sell signal brewing, and at 5 minutes before the hour, that may actually fix in 5 minutes, but that again could grow into a full sell signal. RTY, we've got a possible weak 6-minute sell signal brewing as well. YM, we've got a possible weak 6-minute sell signal brewing as well. DAX, we've got a full 60-minute sell signal fixed already. We've got a weak 6-minute sell signal fixed on ESTX, and we've got a possible weak 6-minute sell signal brewing on Nikkei. So we have an awful lot of negative divergence. It's not all good news for people wanting a retracement, but that is all good news. So let's have a look at the bigger picture charts, where that last 50 points really higher lowered the quality of this potential double top significantly. And also, as you can see, we went through the 3SD upper band and we closed over it. That was unusual. And we could see a potential upper band right, 3SD upper band right start here. That would be pretty unusual because the daily middle band hasn't really actually turned up much. Normally, to be doing that, you would need it to turn up more. It could do that, but it would take a few days. And I'm thinking, last time we saw something like this on the downside, I think it was, I was talking about it needing a few days to consolidate before moving, or it might have been on the upside, but it's this is an area where basically I'm looking for a retracement consolidation the last few days, and then if it's going to go higher, then it goes higher. In terms of SPX, we went up and we touched exactly the 3SD upper band. It closed at 77.58.99, and the high yesterday was at 77.58.21. So basically that's a full touch. That again is unusual. And actually, if you look back on this chart, last time we actually saw a touch of the 3SD upper band was here, just before a significant reversal and a full bull flag formed. It's relatively rare. You do not tend to see much in the way of punches over it, certainly not when the daily middle band has not turned up properly yet. And at the moment, it's still turning. So, I mean, the bands are expanding. The 3SD upper band is rising, but it's not rising really enough. We will see how that goes. And Dire, that also broke over the 3SD upper band and closed above it, where that closed at 539.46 and Dire closed at 540. So we saw breaks and closes over the daily middle band on both on ES and SPX, and also on Dire. We will see how that goes, but you can see also on Dire, does this still look like a double top? Not really, no. And that is weakening the case that we might see a larger reversal here without going higher. So, all right, let's have a look through. Stocks, I was writing about this yesterday. We saw a break over the daily middle band, but we are still some way away from seeing a failure of this head and shoulders, and that failure would be at, hang on 1 second, just put that on the chart. Right, the right shoulder for this head and shoulders, and it's a nice head and shoulders, is here, up and about the 13,250 area. We are still some way away from breaking that. Although I would say the RSI 14 sell signal has reached the possible near-miss target, and the one on the Qs has also reached the possible near-miss target. So here we saw a break back over the daily middle band, a break back over the 50 DMA. Not really quite clear where the diamond top would fail, but I'm inclined to say on a break over declining resistance, that is still significantly higher, up at about the 740 and change area. I don't think that's going to be done in the next couple of days. I'm really thinking towards, leaning towards seeing some retracement here. We shall see. All right, looking at looking at IWM. IWM, we saw a hard break up, and we saw again a close over. No, it's just slightly under. 3SD upper band closed at 302.28. IWM went over it, but closed basically on it. But that's basically those three indices. I think it's pretty clear, though, that an alternate head and shoulders is not forming. What we're seeing here is a double top. The high yesterday was at 301.71, and the all-time high is at 302.72. We may well see that this morning. In fact, probably will, looking at the charts. So, all right, let's have a look and see. One thing I was talking about, and one thing I'm going to be doing a post about the next day or so, is where could we be looking for upside targets. On SPX, and I would say there is a caveat here. The caveat is that we haven't gone and touched the support trend line here. So relying on this particular point in this trend line may not be right. It's just the best one we've got at the moment. So the obvious trend line resistance is up in about the 78.25 area, and obviously that could go higher. In terms of the Qs, we've got... this weekly chart's got the best one here, but again, we haven't gone back and tested and confirmed the rising support trend line from this, but I've got that trend line up currently in about the 770 area, I think. But obviously at the moment, we'd just be looking for a retest of the all-time high, which is at 747.83. Looking at Dia, my nicest looking trend line is this one. We're almost there. There are potential alternatives, but that one actually is already pretty nice and isn't relying on this one as a high. I'm looking at that as being in about the 543 area. Obviously, we are very close to it. In terms of hourly and 15-minute charts, we really weren't seeing any kind of retracement yesterday. Ideally, you see a retracement and a retest to set up some decent divergence. We haven't seen that on the 15-minute. We've got a very weak sell signal. Sell signals are fixed on the 15-minute. Looking at the Qs, no divergence there either. But the air is getting thin here. And I'm really expecting to see some retracement. So on the 15-minute, we had a little bit of negative divergence on the 15-minute RSI 5. That's not really something I would seriously be considering, but I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a retracement here, and really I'm expecting one. Could this go a little higher? Yes, it often would after a touch of the daily 3SD upper band, but it doesn't tend to be a lot, and then we tend to see a retracement start. If we are going to go higher in the relatively short term, I'd expect consolidation for a couple of days before we go higher, and normally we would get that. In terms of Dia, we've got on the hourly chart no current divergence there either. Again, see a bit of a retrace and a retest, and we can get some very, very nice signals going, but we haven't seen that retrace yet. On the 15-minute chart, little bit of negative divergence here, and we do have some weak sell signals. We've got a weak sell signal fixed on the RSI 5, an almost made target, and we've got a weak sell signal fixed also on the RSI 14. All right, looking at the 15-minute and the other indices. Hang on, wait a second. All right, hourly chart on IWM, no current divergence. Sorry, I'm just moving these, but you can see this alternate bull flag that I'd marked in has broken up and has almost delivered a retest of the high. And at this stage, I'm expecting to see a retest of the high. In terms of the 15-minute chart, little bit of negative divergence. RSI 5 sell signal fixed, weak RSI 14 sell signal fixed. This is suggesting retracement, and I'm expecting to see some. DAX, we've gone higher again. We're drifting out of good double top territory potentially. No divergence on here, but obviously we've got sell signals fixed on the hourly charts. On the Nikkei, where we haven't actually come back up much here so far. We are not that far away from the daily middle band. But in terms of this head and shoulders breaking, we would need to get back over about 67,700. We are a long way short of that at the moment. And all of the patterns that I marked up on stocks on Nikkei and posted yesterday and on Qs are still valid. But I'm a bit concerned about the strength of the move yesterday. I wasn't expecting it to actually touch and close on the 3SD upper bands. That is unusual. But generally speaking, 3SD upper bands only really as good as one thing, a sell signal. So I'm expecting to see some retracement or consolidation here. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX, where we've not really moved off the lows yet. Looking at the other currencies, USD not off the recent highs yet. GBP USD holding the monthly pivot, wondering about a possible retest of this high here. USD JPY, we are seeing a bit of a rally here, but I was reading a few comments yesterday that USD JPY intervention wasn't working. US and Japan were both working to bring this down, i.e. to make the yen stronger. And actually, most of that's held so far. So I think so far that's actually been a fairly successful intervention. I'm going to be talking about more about this on the daily chart. On USD CAD, we've got a potential level bottom here, or we could continue down. Australian dollar, we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed. NZ, we've still the 60-minute sell signal, which hadn't made target 4, has now reached the possible near miss target. Looking at, let's have a look at those on the bigger picture charts. Okay, USD. We didn't have a sell signal here, but we have gone back and reached pretty much the main rising support trend line here. I am watching that support. If we break down through it, that opens the way to go lower. We don't have any active double top here or anything, setting up a signal below. Bigger picture, I think the pressure of what the administration is actually doing with the dollar is weighing on the possibility that we are going to see this bull flag break out. We have tested the weekly middle band here. We've got some resistance there. That's not unnatural. We will see how it develops from here. We've still got a lovely bear flag on Euro USD. We've still got a lovely bear flag on GBP USD on the monthly. I'm having doubts about those playing out. In terms of Euro USD, we're now testing this possible alternate bull flag setup that I have. We're testing resistance at the moment. If it breaks up, we could see a move up to retest the high, which would take the dollar down a long way. I think the euro is 57% of the dollar index. GBP USD is still holding this support trend line more or less. USD JPY, obviously this overall setup here is a rising megaphone. This, after we finally retested 162, is a very nice looking double top. Is the yen about to reverse back down and start getting stronger? And the thing is, of course, that yen interest rates have been going up. Obviously, people from the yen who are investing their money abroad face currency risk. And while the yen has been weakening, that currency risk has been going all their way. If we start seeing a move where the yen starts getting stronger, then that is very much going the other way. I.e., people will be much more enthusiastic about repatriating their funds, which are in any case possible to invest in bonds which have a higher, much higher interest rates than they were having. Now, I think this is going to have big secondary effects, bad secondary effects on the Japanese economy, and I'll be writing about that, but in the meantime, we've got a lovely bearish pattern here, which may be a bear flag on the bigger picture, so potentially could take us back into the 75 area from 100 and 165. If we start seeing a lot of the $1 trillion plus in American debt that the Japanese own start being repatriated and the full end of the carry trade, then we're going to see a strong move in the other direction, and that may be accelerated a lot by the end of the carry trade. And exiting US Treasuries, i.e. that may actually give this move down in USD/JPY, which would be a move up in the yen, an awful lot of lags and an awful lot of strength. I'd be initially, this would only really take us back into the halfway point retracement back to maybe the 115 area. That would be a huge move. But if it buries the carry trade, and it would bury the carry trade, borrowing in yen and buying other assets, you are massively aided by the yen going down in value, which it has reliably been doing. Once that changes, that's the carry trade is toast, and money is going to be flooding into the yen. That could really give this some power. So I'm watching that carefully. USD CAD still looks like a bull flag. It might be about to continue higher. We've got a nice looking double bottom which has broken up with the target of the retest of the February high at 1.4793. If the dollar is going to take a hit here, then that won't play out. Australian dollar, nice looking double top here, hasn't broken down. NZUSD, still not that clear what's happening here, apart from the fact that we're trying to break up from a triangle. And if the dollar starts going down seriously, then we will see that break up. All right, great. Let's have a look at bonds. Okay, ZB has been seeing a bit of a rally. We've got over declining resistance here. We've got a weak 6-minute sell signal fixed. ZN, we've got a full 60-minute sell signal fixed, and we're trying to break up from this double bottom with a target in the 109.28 area. If the dollar is going to continue going down, that could give this some impetus to the upside, although the case for the case for a rally here is still fine. The case for a big reversal on bonds is weak. All right, bigger picture on TYX. Obviously, we had a flag here. We were looking at a retest of 51.52. We saw it. We've now got as far as 52.81. This is the inverted head and shoulders breaking up. And that's going to target in the 9.5 area. If we see a major bonds crisis in America, like triggered by, for instance, foreign partners selling their US treasuries, then we could see this go an awful lot higher. As it is, interest rates have risen to a pretty uncomfortable level. In terms of the daily chart, we've still got a weak RSI 5 sell signal fixed. Actually, that's now a full-size one after this higher high. So, sorry, I'll just amend that. That hasn't made the possible near miss target yet. It's always possible that it could. But at the moment, I'm not seeing an awful lot indicating that it's going to. All right, just moving that arrow. All right. In terms of the hourly chart, we had a possible RSI 5 sell signal bring here that made target. We had another RSI 5 sell signal fix and make target here. We've got nothing on the main RSI 14. TNX, we also have a setup where a retest of 49.97 looks likely, and if we see that setup, that will break up from this IHS, which again has got a target significantly higher. So in terms of the daily chart, hang on, that's not the weekly. In terms of the weekly chart, we've got a triangle which is breaking up with a target and a retest of 49.97. On the daily chart, we had an RSI 5 sell signal fixed, and I think that probably failed. So let's have a quick look at that. Yep, it did. So I'm going to mark that in as failed. All right, bear with me a moment. And we have no current divergence there. And that was a strike. While that signal exists, it was a strike in favor of a rally on bonds, and obviously it's gone. So we will see. We do have a potential double top here. We've got a pretty clear target at a retest of this high here, which hasn't been reached yet. In terms of the hourly chart, no current divergence, but we have broken the short-term rising support. In terms of FVX, we've got a triangle, and that's got a target up at a retest of this high here at 49.98, and on TLT, we've got a triangle breaking down. That's got a target, a retest of 73.1. In terms of the daily chart, we had an RSI 5 buy signal, but that's reached a possible near miss target, and I'm now disregarding it. And we had an RSI 5 buy signal here, which I'm suggesting might deliver a rally. It's delivered that rally, and it's made target. So overall, I'm seeing trend is clearly down. on bonds and up on bond yields. We could see more of a rally, but we've only got one daily signal remaining, which would support that rally. Hang on 1 second. So is that a lot to hang a rally on? Not really, no. This rally could fail at any time and yields continue going down. All right, let's have a look at the oil charts. Okay, we've got, I haven't marked it in, but we've got a week 6-minute buy signal fixed here on coil, and we've got a week 6-minute buy signal fixed here on CL. Do we have a week buy signal fixed on coil? Yeah, we do. I'm sorry, I haven't marked that in yet. We've also got a 6-minute buy signal fixed full size on HO, and we've got a little double bottom here, which is breaking up slightly, and we've got a similar setup on RBOB, which is gasoline. So we're seeing a bit of a rally here. Has it really got legs? I think it might do. I'll talk about those on the RTH charts in a minute. But hang on 1 second. Sorry, I just need to get that trend line in the right place. RBOB, we've got a similar setup, a 6-minute buy signal fixed as well. NG, we went back and retested that low as I was expecting, and we got a potential double bottom here. All right, looking at the RTH charts. In terms of the hourly charts, that is a weak RSI 14 buy signal fixed here on Brent as well, and we've got another one fixed on WTIC. In terms of 15 minutes, they're looking pretty interesting here. I've got a couple of pretty nice looking falling wedge. These would be bullish underthrows. These won't necessarily hold, but I've got to say they're nice, particularly as we saw a pause here, and we also saw a pause on the equivalent one on WTIC, which was here. So we saw a touch and then a break below and then a break back above. This is very much a potential bullish underthrow. And while a deal might be done, it's not a deal which the Americans are negotiating. It's mainly a negotiation between Iran and Oman. And insofar as the Americans are involved, it's because Iran have basically given them an ultimatum in order for this to go to effect and for Strait of Hormuz to be freed up. The Americans need to concede Iran's right to charge fees, and they need to lift all sanctions and basically lift the blockade. Whether the US is prepared to do that is open to question, but we will see. Looking at the bigger picture, looking at the daily charts here. All right, looking at Brent. We didn't have a sell signal at the high. We are below the daily middle band here, and we're also below the 50 DMA. There is obviously potential to go lower. In terms of the WTIC chart, we have again broken the daily middle band. We've again broken the 50 DMA. Are these lower prices sustainable given the overall setup? I'm doubtful. But at the moment, we have broken enough support that it could be opening up a move lower. In terms of heating oil, we had an RSI 5 sell signal fix, that's made target. We had an RSI 14 sell signal fix, that hasn't made target yet. And we've broken the daily middle band there, and we've broken it on gas oil as well. In terms of the shorter term charts, we've got an hourly buy signal fixed here on heating oil, as we have on the hourly futures chart, and we've got an hourly buy signal fixed here on gas oil. I'm expecting this to make target. I'm a bit surprised how far this has come down. This actually took out the last lows on gas oil, and that surprised me. So, but we will see how it goes. We've got a double top that's broken down on heating oil that I marked in, but we've pretty much made the target. Could go down a little further, but at the moment this looks like reversal back up. In terms of natural gas, we've got a potential little level bottom here, but I am very much wondering about a retest of this low here at 2.49. I think we might be seeing that soon. In terms of signals, we've now got a possible, the last daily RSI 5 buy signal that fixed failed, and we've got another one which is now started brewing. All right, let's have a look at metals, where we had a bit of a break up yesterday. So we've actually broken over this possible triangle resistance trend line I marked in. That is promising. And could be the start of a move up. We haven't got a great looking double bottom here on gold, but it is, if you squint a little, a double bottom. We've got a nice looking double bottom on SI. This actually had a 60-minute sell signal fixed yesterday, and it failed. which was interesting. Palladium, I've redrawn these as potentially larger bear flags, but they don't have to be. And we're pretty close to the double bottom resistance on palladium. And on platinum, we don't have a double bottom, but we could form an alternate pattern. We will see how it goes from here. I've marked in a potential possible flag resistance, although that's not quite perfect here. I'll be coming back and fixing that, but actually the trend line is slightly wrong. I don't know if that moved overnight. Might need to come back to this. Hang on. All right, that's the trend line, and we'll be showing a slight overthrow at the moment. In terms of HG, HG is getting closer to a retest of this high, and I'm thinking that is probably where it's headed. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. And on gold, we still got an RSI 14 buy signal fixed, and the RSI 5 buy signal has now reached the full target. We do have a potential. We've got a low quality double bottom here. We've got a high quality potential double bottom with resistance in the 4400 area, and really, it's I wouldn't be sad to see this break up, although from a pure technical point of view, it would be quite nice to see a retest this low here at 29.41. All right, looking at silver, we've got a nice looking double top here. We've got a weak, double bottom set up here. We've got a weak RSI 14 buy signal, which is fixed and is proceeding towards the target. We've got a nice looking double bottom resistance, possible double bottom resistance in the 63.26 area. Looking at platinum, nice looking potential bottoming set up, and we've broken up from this wedge now. So looking at palladium, nice looking potential level bottom, which is now testing resistance and is actually starting to break up on this chart. We could form a possible alternate head and shoulder pattern. In terms of copper, we're getting pretty close to a retest of the prior high, and I'm expecting to see one. So it's this I'm watching really, rather than the high retest on the futures chart, though we may see that as well. I've got that high retest at 6.653. Looking at GDX, we've still got a nice looking double bottom set up here. On GDXJ, we've got a nice looking double bottom set up here, and we will see if that delivers. But these are also part of potential larger double bottoms, and if we start seeing a decent move up, we could well start to see these play out. All right, let's have a look at the other commodities. All right, KC, we are in a bullish consolidation, and that's still ongoing at the moment. On sugar, I think we're heading up into a retest of this high here in the 1539 area. On CC, this head and shoulders has now failed. So in terms of the alternates of the head and shoulders down and the flag up, we've very much come down in favor of the flag. We do have a possible 60-minute sell signal brewing. We might see a bit of a pullback here, but I've got a target really at a retest of this high, although we could be forming a larger bull flag, of course. In terms of lumber, we've continued down. We've got a possible weak 6-minute buy signal brewing, but not much sign of reversal so far, and this has been a very nice move down so far. CT is basically at a retest of the prior high on the futures chart. On ZW, still looks like a possible bull flag forming. Corn still looks like a possible bull flag forming. Soy still looks like a possible bull flag forming. Possible weak 6-minute buy signal brewing here. On ZL, still looks like a bullish consolidation. Live cattle, we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed, but I'm still wondering about a possible hit of the double bottom target in the 231.6 area. HE, we had a nice looking inverted head and shoulders here. That broke up, that failed. Normally, that would deliver a retest of this low. And until demonstrated otherwise, that's what I'm looking for. Main resistance, obviously, currently at the monthly pivot at 85.15. All right, let's have a look at those on the bigger picture charts. And right, looking at coffee, this looks like a bullish consolidation. We're holding more or less above the daily middle band at the moment, and I think sooner or later this is going to deliver a retest of this high here at 357. In terms of sugar, we've broken up from a nice looking falling wedge here. Do we have a nice looking bottoming pattern here? Not really. We are breaking up over this potential bearish consolidation to set up a retest of this low. Looking at cocoa, it looks as though it's heading back up to 648.78. I would note that is potentially an inverted head and shoulder neckline. And if we see a break up, that could be target an awful lot higher. Although obviously, as with any IHS, it could fail back into the lows. In terms of lumber, we've got a nice move down here. We are not close to the main support here, which I've got at this rising support trend line here in about the 530 area, but we've got an awful lot closer to it. I'm wondering if we might finally see the sell signal, this selling setup here, which with a double target down in the 35250 area. I'm thinking we might breaking down towards that, but we haven't actually broken down below this trend line first. That would be the sign that this big bear flag that's taken 3.5 years to form is finally breaking down. In terms of the daily chart, RSI 14 sell signal fixed and has made target. We are pretty close to this shorter term rising support, which I've got in the 583 area, and I'm going to be watching to see whether that gets touched, and if so, whether it holds. All right, looking at cotton. Cotton, still wondering about a retest of this high here at 88.88. We retested that. We're retesting that on the futures, but we're not retesting it on spot yet. We do have, supporting that, a double bottom which is broken up with a target in the 87.30 area. Looking at wheat, bigger picture, we've got a double bottom which is broken up with a target in the 739.742 area. I think this is just a way station on the way there. We had an RSI 5 sell signal fixed, and that's made target. I'm still liking the upside here. We will see how that goes. In terms of corn, we've got a potential double bottom here, hasn't broken up yet. And daily chart, we're back below the daily middle band, so I would like to see this go up higher afterwards, but the evidence is weaker. Soy, we've got an IHS which has broken up. This could be rejecting, and if so, if it rejects and gets below the IHS right shoulder low at 1098.75, then this could actually reject all the way back to the low. RSI 5 sell signal has made target on the daily chart, so waiting to see which way this is going to go. Really, my feeling is the grain should all be going up. So because of fertilizer expense and shortages, but at the moment they're not cooperating. We shall see. All right, great. Let's have a look at crypto. All right, crypto. We've got a slightly up this week so far. We've still got a daily RSI 14 buy signal fixed, and that hasn't made target yet, but doesn't need to make target right now. The daily middle band is at 64.343, and we are testing it as resistance at the moment. If we break over it, I would be wondering about a possible test of 66.9. Short term, we've got a possible head and shoulders that could be breaking down here. I've got a possible alternate that could still be forming the right shoulder. One way or another, the natural path would seem to be down, but I am wondering if we might actually retest this high here to set up a second high of a double top. In terms of Solana, again, going sideways so far this week. We are testing the daily middle band and slightly below it at the moment. I'm wondering whether this could all be, and I've drawn this in on one of these charts, hang on, this could all be a bull flag setting up a retest of this high here at 83.69, and it could be. It doesn't need to be, but I'm still wondering about that. I don't have a topping pattern taking this lower at the moment. We will see how it goes. I do have a nice looking support trend line here. But if we are forming a flag, and that trend line is supporting a flag, then of course I don't have a defined resistance trend line, and therefore if this breaks up, then I don't know where that's going to finish. All right, in terms of Ethereum, we've got sideways so far this week, pretty much. Daily chart, the RSI 5 sell signal has reached the possible near miss target. In terms of the daily middle band, we are testing that at the moment and very slightly below it. Here, we've got a very, very solid setup here. We've got a 3-touch resistance trend line on a flag, and we should be topping out here and moving towards the downside. So this one is definitely bearish. We shall see. Okay, in that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I will catch you guys again on Sunday. All right, cheers.